what's up? It's that time again. 115 degrees right now, it says outside. It'll probably go down as soon as we start moving. But it's a hot one today. I can feel it. I can feel it. Woo! Yep. Well, let's see. Be right back, everybody. Don't go away. Alrighty, let's see, how's it going here? Ooh, it's hot out there now. Welcome everybody. It's a hot one today. Man, it's 113 outside temperature, man. 113 the outside temperature. Whew. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending wherever you're at in this great world of ours. What's up, everybody? That time again. Oof, it is hot, man. I can feel it. AC seems like it's not working, but it will as soon as I start going. Yeah, it is a hot one, guys. Welcome. I'll be reading the chat afterwards. Usually be on here for about 45 to 50 minutes. Going to work today. Okay. Sky's kind of hazy today, but I feel a humidity. Humidity is high, I think. That's why. But yeah, it's a hot one, everybody. 1:27 is the time. 1:27 p.m. Tuesday here in sunny California. Temperature dropped a little bit, 112 now. But standing still, it's over 115 degrees. That's in the shade. Yep. Yeah, I'll probably be feeding the jumping spider tomorrow. It's 2 weeks. Usually just feed it like every 2 weeks. You know, that way he's more wanting to take down the prey faster instead of letting it sit there. But yeah, So how's everybody doing? So everybody go check out my community tab. Check out those channels on there. We got a lot of great channels on there. We have great channels on our family and friends list and also the regular list. Check out the family and friends. That's you got Iron Dog there. You got Iron Dog. You got Kurtwood. You got My Animal House. You got Keys Constrictors. You got KY. You got TNT. You got Derek's Reptiles. You got Spider Mom. You got Mark the Spider Guy. You got Sherry Metcalf. You have also James Gipes on there. Go check out all those amazing channels. Go check out my community tab. You got some good channels there. You can find them real quick. You got Nitro. You have Scott's Inverts. He's from the UK. You have Spider Mom on there. We have Zelda. He's from Indonesia. He does Hot Wheels. You got Tony Diecast. You got let's see, Zeta Modelo. They're variety shows like vloggers. You got Squirrel Catfishing, it's another good channel. We got Catfish Terry. Say a prayer for him. He was in the hospital. He's home now. Yeah, here's the bad part of the internet, guys. It goes in and out here. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how people driving today. You know, people, they like driving dumb. So, how's everybody doing today? Everybody having a great day? Yeah, it's a hot one, guys. Temperature dropped to about 111 now that we're moving. It's probably going to be there for a bit. Probably go up higher. A lot of traffic today. Yep. 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 Yeah, tarantula out there in the wild. It's moving around more. The other day I fed it that grasshopper. You can check out the video. Probably see if I can get some more of its natural insects out there that he would eat. Yeah, and then I don't know what's coming out. We'll see what comes out of those holes. Nothing yet. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll keep you updated on all that. Yeah, I saw some the rabbits again. There's these 3 rabbits that are always under some trailers. I seen a prairie dog also, but haven't. Those are hard to get because they don't come out of the hole very often. And then if they come out and see you, they go back inside. So they're kind of hard to. I do have a video of them on my channel. You know, prairie dogs. They're out there in the wild. But yeah, those ones are hard to catch on camera. They're, as they say, they're very elusive. This guy's not moving fast enough. Even the semi next to me is moving faster than he is. Well, either go in the slow lane, or I wonder if he's gonna change lanes, or maybe he's gonna turn. Hopefully he turns. Gets out of the way. Nope. At least the semi moved. This guy is like not going to speed limit. Yeah, now he speeds up when I'm going to pass him. Yeah, you know the car's always he's not even going to speed limit, but then as soon as you try to pass him, boom, they speed up. You know, I don't know. Maybe the passenger told him, hey, you know, you need to speed up. You're too slow. You know. Yep. Yeah, so blue skies with a couple clouds here and there. That's what's keeping the temperature kind of down. Clouds, the sun goes behind the clouds and temperature goes down a little bit. Yep, a lot of traffic today. A lot of trucks out. This guy's behind me wants to fly. Go in the slow lane, let him go by. Come on. Yep. I don't know. My power went out today at the house. Luckily, it was only for like about probably 5 minutes or less. Not too bad. But you don't want the power to go out in the summertime here. That's not a good thing. It goes bad real quickly. Then you have your food will spoil. plus the air conditioning, no air conditioning. And if it's 117 outside, pretty soon it'll get about 90 inside. So yeah, you gotta just gotta hope the power don't go out. But it happens, you know. Sometimes everybody decides to kick in the air conditioning at the same time instead of running it low. You know, run it at 77 or 78 degrees and just keep it running. You know, one time we left on vacation for like about three days, and my wife's all, hey, let's turn off the air conditioning. It's going to be wasting energy while we're not here. What we should have done is we should have lowered it down to about 85 and let it keep the temperature at 85, you know. But we didn't. We turned it off completely. When we got home, it was at nighttime, and it was 90. It was like 90 degrees inside the home. And then it took a whole day to get it back to the temperature. We turned it on, and it was like running. You know, that's gonna work. You know, harder, because instead of running, you know, just a couple of minutes and turning off, you know, you're talking, it's going to be running for about 12 hours, because it took almost 24 hours to get the temperature, you know, plus the air conditioning was old. It was already old by then. It wasn't as bad as it was recently, but it was old. This one, as soon as you kick it on, it like cools everything down like that. I mean, it's very, very good, which is good. Less time on, much less electricity used, less electricity I have to pay. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Then I remember one time our air conditioning went out. And this was in the summer, dude. It was bad. It went out, and I couldn't find nobody to. It was during summertime. Summertime's the worst time for AC to go out, because everybody's getting their AC fixed or repaired or serviced, and the AC guy isn't available. So I couldn't get a hold of the AC guy. You know, nobody was available. So it took almost 5 days to get him to come down and check it out and get it to working. It was low on gas. But yeah, it was hot. You know, we had, you know, we didn't have anywhere to go. You know? So we had to just tough it out. You know? I mean, it got about 90 degrees inside. We had fans going, you know, blowing out the hot air. At nighttime, it was kind of still cool enough that we could, you know, cool the air, you know, cool the house down a little bit. But it was hot, man. Hot. Yep. So yeah, the wildlife in the desert is starting to wake up out there. So highway patrol pulling over to help the person that broke down. Maybe they're just making a phone call. Who knows? But they're pulled over. You don't want to be stuck out here in the heat. You know, that's a good thing. You know, at least the CHP's out there. If anybody's pulled over, they'll usually go and see if you need help. You know, I mean, one time my car broke when I was in LA. We were driving this van, and it was messing up. I don't know what the heck was going on, and it would shut down, you know, like start losing power. The more gas you gave it, the worse it got. So we're coming home. We're coming from up north. Then we hit LA, and in LA, when I was getting off on an off ramp, it turned off right before you get onto the freeway. It turned off right there where the on ramp is, and it was not a very good spot. So luckily, CHP came and he says, "Hey, you guys, okay?" I go, "Yeah, it'll probably start up as soon as it cools down. It's kind of hot." Because the starter was going out on it too. So when it got to a certain temperature, it didn't want to crank over. So had to wait till it cooled down. Then once it cooled down, it would start up. But then it still had the other issue of the power. So then he pushed it up forward enough to be out of the way, and he goes, "Oh, okay." And then we went on our way once it cooled down. Then once it cooled down, we went to visit my aunt. She lived in El Monte. El Monte. But English people say El Monte. And so we went there, and then I went to the store, but because it had points and condenser. It didn't have electronic ignition, so I went to the automotive store, bought some points, replaced the points. It was running much better with them in there, but then it started messing up again every time where it reached a certain temperature. It started messing up. So finally, we got it home and took it to the shop. Had them check it out. They rebuilt the carburetor. The distributor was fine. They did a complete tune-up on it. Spark plugs, wires, cap, rotor. Rebuilt the carburetor. And, it would run great. And then all of a sudden, at a certain temperature, it'd start messing up. And I told the mechanic, "No, look, it's still doing the same darn thing." And then he didn't believe me. He thought because I went on a test drive with him. I go, "Look, temperature has to reach a certain temperature, then it starts messing up." So then, we're driving, and then all of a sudden, then it started doing it. It was like it would act like if I'm playing with the gas pedal. And he even looked over and said, "Are you playing with the gas pedal?" I go, "No, look, and the more gas I give it, the worse it gets." And he goes, "Oh, okay." He goes, I know what's going on." He goes, it's starving for fuel. So it's getting more air than fuel. So he got it up on the rack, and basically it was the return hose. This is a Chevy van with a 350 engine in it. And it was the fuel. On the fuel tank, there's two hoses, the regular fuel line, and then there's a return hose. And then the part of the fuel line, sometimes it has rubber hose, and they get old and brittle. It was original hose. So they replaced that. They replaced that hose, and boom, fixed the problem. Had no more problems. The van ran real good. And then the van, started messing up, and it had a burnt valve in it. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of it. So we went car shopping up in San Jose area. Yeah, me and my dad did, and then I saw this Chevy Caprice. It was a 1966 Chevy Caprice. Had a black vinyl top, and it was blue, dark blue, like midnight blue paint job. Interior was nice. All the body was chrome. Everything was good. Had how many miles on it? I think it had about over 70,000 miles on it, I believe. I mean, it was owned by some supposed. You know how they say owned by a little old lady from Pasadena that hardly ever drove it, only to the store and back. Had it for years. She died probably, and the kids are like, we don't need this piece of crap car, and then sold it for like pennies, and then now the dealership, is going to sell it for thousands of dollars. And this was back in the '80s, and the car was already over 20 years old. So it's like, oh, okay. And then the good thing about the car, once, because it's so old, once you put in your name, you don't have to smog it again. Look at this guy. Jesus. Yeah, so you don't have to smog it again. You know, you can just drive it without smogging it. There's some counties that you have to smog it every other year. So every 2 years, you have to do a smog test on it. Make sure it passes, because if it doesn't, guess what? You can't drive it, because it's going to be contaminating the roads. It's going to be contaminating the the air. Not all the other things, like all them cows that are polluting the air with their fertilizer. They don't say anything about that. But yeah, so I got the '66 Chevy Caprice. It was a nice car. Drove it back and forth to work and everything, and then I came down, visited a couple of times on one of the trips on the way back, and it was a Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, in fact. Then the car started messing up right when it hit 100,000 miles. Man, it was like that, boom, 100,000 miles, and boom, the valves. There's some valve seals that the engine has. They started sucking oil. It was pumping oil into the engine. So instead of keeping the oil in the engine to keep it cool, temperature started rising. The oil pressure was dropping. So I had to stop at a place and buy a bunch of cans of transmission. I mean, not transmission, engine oil. I bought a 24 pack of oil. So as soon as I started it up, boom, all this dark black smoke coming out of the engine. By the tailpipe. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna try to get it home, make it home. But it was a big hill that I climbed. It just didn't handle the power, the engine gave out. It was still running real good, but just the seals on the engine were too old and cracked already. Probably original. I mean, come on, 20-year-old seals, they got to give away. So then every so many miles, I pump, put oil in the engine and start it up, and all these black smoke coming out, and I would drive it another more miles, and then I put the last 5 quart, because it takes 5 quarts, to put the last 4 quarts into the engine, and then drove it as far as I could. Then there was one more place, and I stopped there. It was called Lost Hills. So I stopped off at a gas station, pulled over to a gas station where it was like a store gas station, parked it next to the building on the side. Plus, I had all this stuff in the car. Super Bowl Sunday. It's like, I called my mom. I'm like, hey, you know what? See if you can get somebody to pick me up. This is where I'm at. I'm at a gas station, such and such. And I had to do this on a payphone because, back in the '80s, I didn't have a cell phone. Shit, if I would have broke down on the road, I mean, I'd be out there till the CHP would come around or call a tow truck. Can you imagine how much a tow truck would have cost to take it? The insurance will cover it for up to 50 miles. I mean, I was still like 250 miles away from where I had to go. So I would still have to pay for the extra 200 miles. So I'm like, oh well, you know what? I'm gonna call my mom, and so she called somebody from the church, friends that we had, because we would go to church, and they had a pickup truck, and they go, okay, well, we can pick you up, you know. So I got everything. Luckily, they had a truck, put everything in the back of the truck, because I had everything, the back seat, the passenger seat, even the trunk was full of stuff, blankets, candies, all kinds of stuff my mom ordered, because, when you go to Mexico, you got to get all that stuff, cheap stuff, blankets, these nice thick blankets, because where we were at, it was cold up north, San Jose area. And so here so they come pick me up, and I believe it was the 49ers. It was the 49ers and Cincinnati, I think it was the game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Cincinnati Bengals and 49ers. We all know who won. So I was like, geez, for somebody to come out, it had to be somebody who didn't want to be watching the football game. So then they picked me up, and then I told the guy at the store, you know what, my car's parked in the side. Please don't tow it away. I am coming back for it. I gotta go get a hitch. So then I got some other friend. She had a truck also, full size truck. Went to U-Haul, rented one of those hitches that you could hook onto the bumper. Because those old cars, you can hook it onto the bumper. Nowadays, you hook it up to the bumper, you're gonna rip the damn bumper right off. There's no way, unless you get a hitch that, hooks onto with hooks on it, maybe. And so then I that's what I did. I got one of those hitches, got my tools, so I could put it onto the end. She had a hitch on the back with a ball on it, so that was good. So then I we put the hooked it up, and then started driving. Then after a little bit of while, then I went and checked it again. Some of it got a little loose, so I retightened everything. Because you got to check it, because or else, that's what sometimes people do. They hook it up and they never check it. Then they're going down the road. All of a sudden, they see a car passing them, and it's the car that they had hooked up, or it crashes, it flips over, and kills them too, in the process. Because it can happen. So then I got it home safely. The bumper got a little bent on it, but not that, not too noticeable. It was underneath, so didn't care as long as I got it home. Once I got it home, then I had some friends that I met. He used to do a lot of automotive work in his garage. He had the room to do it, because I lived in apartments, apartment complex, so I didn't have anywhere to check it or do any work on it. So I told him, you know what, I want to completely go through the car, rebuilt the engine, rebuilt the transmission, rebuilt all the front end parts, all the bushings, all the ball joints, everything that can be replaced, replace it. Brakes, completely go through them, new master cylinder, new wheel cylinders. This one had drum brakes, all front and back, but it had a brake booster. That's what helped it stop. Because disc brakes work better than drum brakes. So then they rebuilt the whole thing. It was like new. Then of course the paint was the cheapest paint that they put on there when they had it at the dealer. Like the commercial, Earl Shibes, $99, $100. They'll paint any car. They won't do any major, body work, but they'll do little touch ups. and they'll paint your car. I mean, it was this place in LA, $100 paint job, but of course, probably not the best paint. That's probably why they come off. Because when I was washing the car right after I got it, like a couple months afterwards, the rag was turning the color of the car. And yeah, it was like turning, different, the rag all blue. So I said, man, I need to paint it. So I used to, when I used to drive from my apartment, there was a alley in the back. So I drove down the alley, and I used to see this old guy. He used to do body work and paint cars in his garage. So I'm like, hey, you know what? So I stopped off and I go, hey, I live down the ways here. I see you paint cars. I have this car, what would you charge me to paint it? He goes, oh well. He goes, if you kind of help out a little bit, do the sanding a little bit, and you buy the paint, whatever paint you want, I'll paint it, and I'll charge you $100. So I said, hey, I'm like, hey, hey, sounds great. So that's what I did, and I wanted a two-tone. I wanted a white top, because I removed the vinyl top, because the vinyl underneath the vinyl, it looked like it started like getting a little bit of rust, in some areas. I could feel it. So I'm like, man, before this thing like rusts out or something, I wanna replace it and just paint it. So he painted the top white, and the baby blue on the bottom. Yeah, and it came out real good, real nice. The guy did a real good job. No orange peeling. So it was good. So, and the upholstery was still great inside. Everything was nice. The dash did have like a little crack. Because back in the day, they had like a little bit of vinyl on them. But sometimes people would take off the vinyl and just paint it. Paint the dash. Because it's metal. Not like nowadays, everything's plastic. You look at a car and everything's plastic on the inside. I mean, it all breaks. It all with the sun. It either gets all broken and stuff. Cracks, dries out. But yeah, I mean, so. But I always, on my cars, that's why whenever I get a car, I buy a dash mat. As you can see in the camera here, that's what it has. It's a dash mat, so it helps out on keeping the dash alive longer. So then I had that '66 Chevy Caprice, and then after that I bought my first new car. Because I mean I've had other cars. I had a Mercury Marquis 2-door with a 429 engine in it, and it was a nice car. I had that in high school. I bought it off one of the guys that used to live with my grandma. He bought it, and he drove it. He used to drive us to school to it. We used to give him money for gas. He would never fill up the tank. I mean, he would like put a quarter tank. Whatever money we would give him, he would fill it up as much as it was. Back then, it was like 68 cents a gallon. But it had a 30-gallon tank. And it was a nice car. And the car, it was also like in good condition. So then I drove that one in high school, and I filled it up. Like the car probably went like, oh my God, probably would have like started coughing or something. You know, go, oh my God, I can't believe you put gas in me. Well, so the guy, he was a senior year, so you know he was gonna get rid of the car, you know. So I'm like, hey, you know, well, you know, he was going to go into the Marines, the Marine Corps, and I told him, I go, his name was Carlos. I go, hey, Carlos, you know, I want to get a car. You know, I was gonna get my license, barely. So because I was 16 at the time, and I had already passed the driver test. You know, the in school, you know, because they give you free driver training, and if you pass the test, then all you have to do is go and do the other test and drive, and you pass. Or you'd have to wait till you're 21, and then you can. I think it's 21 or 18. I think 18 or something like that. So then at 16 you can still get your license. So I said, yeah, you know what? Sell it to me. Well, how much would you sell it to me for? You know, I said, all right, give me 500 for it. So you know, I had money saved up. My mom, my dad, and they would give me allowances. You know, I would do jobs here and there. My grandma, you know, I would save all my money. You know, save any cash that anybody would give me for birthdays or anything like that. And then plus I did work kind of part time at school. You know, they give you these little part time jobs, so I did. I mean, back then I think the minimum wage was, this was back in the '70s. Minimum wage was, I think, $1.35 an hour. You know, so I think my checks were like 100, and like for 2 weeks, I think I was getting like 130 something dollars, you know, for 2 weeks. So, you know, it was like, oh, so I had all this money saved up. You know, I had more than $500 saved up. So then I told him I'll buy it. So I did, and I drove it. You know, I drove for a lot of years. You know, graduated from high school and stuff like that. And then I even drove it up north. In fact, I had that one before I had the van that my grandmother gave me. You know, this truck finally getting off. This tractor's going so slow here. Speed limit is 35, man. I'm going about 20 miles an hour here. Yeah, so then I had the Mercury Marquis. Then after the Mercury Marquis, I had the Chevy van. Then after the Chevy van, then I had the Chevy '66 Chevy Caprice. Then I bought a Mazda pickup truck. I bought a Mazda B2000. You know, and you know, it was like, oh, okay, you know, and it was my first brand new vehicle, no miles on it. I went to go get it, and then the dealership's all like, wow, you know, because I had good credit, you know, because I would always pay my bills. I had a couple credit cards, you know, like JCPenney credit cards, you know, and some other credit card. You know, that's the way you could do it. You know, you use your credit cards and you pay them off completely real quick, build your credit up. So I had real good credit. So credit wasn't, but it was just that I had never purchased anything. So, you know, they didn't really show very much in their credit history. So the dealerships, well, you know, you need a co-signer or else we can't make a deal, you know. I'm like, you know what? That's all right. I'm just going to go somewhere else. You know, if we can't make a deal, if you can't make a deal, you know what? I'm just going to go somewhere else, you know. Because, plus I that was the only time I ever I had a down payment. So I gave $1,000 down. Like, well, I got $1,000 to give, you know. Well, I did pay $600 for the Chevy Caprice, and plus I turned in the van. They wanted like, because it was on there for like, I think they wanted like 2,500 for it on the tag, and I said, you know what? I'll give you the van and $500. They wanted the van. They could make more money off the van. So they're like, they asked me if I had the pink slip. Well, not the pink slip, but the registration, and I showed it to them. And they were holding on to the registration. They didn't want to let it go. So I said, you know what? Nah, you don't want to make a deal. We're getting back my registration, and I'm out of here. Told my dad, I'm tired of playing around. Let's go somewhere else. You know, but then I didn't make him. I wanted the car, but I wasn't, making him like I want that car, like making him, because then that would hurt me. I wouldn't have the advantage, like, because they're gonna want me to buy it, because they would say, oh, he's desperate for getting it. You don't want to look desperate when you go to the dealerships, because that's how they get you. They're like, oh, come on, they'll try to use that against you. So then I told him, I go, that's it, $500 in the van. And, we can't. They want you to finance it. And you know what? No, you know what? That's it. Look, this is my final offer. I said I'm going to give you another 600, and the van, and that's it. I said that's it. No more. That's it. I'm not going any higher. I said that's it, man. And so then I said, oh, okay, we got a deal. All right. So then I was haggling with them. So then let me see who's in here. Let's see. Hey, jefe, ¿qué pasa, jefe? Let's see. Anub, what's up? Ryan Smith. Ryan's Fishing. Welcome. Hey, Gary, what's up, Gary? MDT, welcome. Hey, James Gype, yeah. Hey, Squirrel, Magnet Squirrel, what's up? Tony Diecast, hi, what's up? Hey, True TV, what's up? Snooky, hey, welcome, Snooky. Yeah, so I'm like, hey, you know what? That's it, the final offer, man. 600 and the van. Oh yeah, okay, we have the deal. I go, wow, but I don't have the money. I don't have the money. Wow, he goes, okay, well, why don't you? Because we had already test drived it, and I liked it. Everything was good, everything was working. We checked the oil on it; it didn't look bad. But they can change the oil on it. Didn't look like any leaks anywhere. So it was a good 1966 Chevy Caprice, everything original on it. So then I said, well, we can go to the bank and I'll get the money out. So we went to the bank, got the $500, gave him the $500, gave me the pink slip for the car, and started driving it. I mean, in less than a couple of days, we went somewhere up in Salinas, and there's another little town past that. I think it's Gonzalo, and we're parked at a store. Because my dad he was visiting some people. He's collecting money from people that owed him money supposedly. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? My dad didn't trust. I couldn't trust him as far as I could throw him, as they say. He had kids with another woman, but that's another story. So then we stopped at a store, and then when we're coming out, hey, nice car, man. Hey, you want to sell it? I'm like, I just bought it. I'm not gonna sell it. Come on, I'll give you so much for it and this and that. I'm like, no. So then I had it for a long time, and then I bought that Mazda B2000, and then I wasn't driving the car, and then I'm like, I have two cars, and one was always parked, and I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? Then my brother, he's all, I need a car, to drive. I go, well, you know what? Give me $500. $500. Put it in your name, But if you don't want it no more, sell it back to me and I'll buy it back. And then he painted it a candy apple red. Even painted the dash on the inside, the trunk, everything was nicely painted. They did a good paint job. The interior, I don't remember if it was cloth, but I think he also ended up doing the interior, but did it like original, you know. And then he was doing some other stuff, and then he ended up putting it up on blocks, and I don't know, hey, I'm going, what are you doing? And then without even telling me, he sells it, I don't know how much he sold it for, but you know what? I think because when I needed some money a while back, when we had some credit cards we had to pay off, he loaned me some money, and he's all, oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. Hey, I think he loaned me like $3,000. He said, hey, the $3,000 are yours. I think he was just paying me back for the car that he probably sold for about that amount. I never did ask him, how much he sold it for. But I didn't care. It's just that I love that car. I mean, it's a nice classic car, '66 Chevy Caprice. I'd still be driving it right now. Not all the time because of the gas prices, but it was a nice car for going cruising. It had the lap, because back then it was just lap seatbelts, and it's made out of heavy metal. They were made like tanks back then. Now the cars, they fall apart. The only thing that's made like a tank is where you're sitting inside the car. The front and back, they just crumple like nothing to absorb the blow, I guess. But yeah, thanks everybody here for coming in, and God bless everybody that came in. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to share it out. And have a good one, everybody. Till next time. Bye. God bless everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending wherever it's at. Here it's 112 degrees outside, 2:17 in the afternoon here in California. Bye, everyone. As Keith says, call your mama, tell her you love her, because you don't know how long you're going to have her. Less hate out there and more love. Hug someone. Tell them you love them, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks, Sherry. Well, Sherry, yeah, let's go check out Sherry. She's also on my community tab. You can find all those great channels on there. Bye, everybody.